I'd like to bring in NewsNation's Kelly Meyer live for us at the White House. So, Kelly, with this shutdown now in full effect, the administration is warning of mass furloughs and firings.
Yeah, and this is something, touching on what my colleague Joe Khalil was saying, that the president can do here to really force Democrats' hand to potentially end this shutdown. So there's a lot of finger pointing happening here down the road at Pennsylvania Avenue. Nichole, the White House is already dubbing this the, quote, Democrat shutdown, as Democrats are calling this the, quote, Trump shutdown. So going back and forth here. So ahead of the midnight shutdown, President Trump threatened the consequences could be irreversible, he said. He suggested trimming the budget to, quote, a level that you couldn't do any other way. He also said a lot of, quote, good could come from shutdowns. Here's more from the president and then Vice President J.D. Vance on the other side.
We're going to have to deal with it. We're going to have to make sure that as much of the people's government remains open or functional as possible. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. But there's going to be some pain. And there's necessarily going to be some pain because Senate Democrats refuse to reopen the government.
The Democrats want to shut it down. So when you shut it down, you have to do layoffs. So we'd be laying off a lot of people that are going to be very affected. And the Democrats, they're going to be Democrats.
And there's this statement from Trump's budget chief from the Office of Management and Budget, Director Russell Vought. Quote, it is unclear how long Democrats will maintain their untenable posture, making the duration of the shutdown difficult to predict. Regardless, employees should report to work for their next regularly scheduled tour of duty to undertake orderly shutdown activities. That was from last night ahead of that midnight shutdown. Now, we are learning that Director Vought is expected to hold a call today, this afternoon, about an hour from now, with the White House, with House Republicans, to discuss what could come next following this government shutdown. That's according to a source to our Libby Dean. Now, the threats from Trump, Vance, and Vought to slash federal jobs, that could pressure Democrats and potentially bring some sort of end to this. But as Joe said, we just don't know how long this could last. Nichole?
Yeah, we just don't know. So many questions here. But Kelly, who exactly will be or would be impacted by the president's furlough threat?
Yeah, it's a good question and something that is on many Americans' minds today. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers are furloughed today. Now, essential workers are continuing to show up with no pay, essentially. And active duty service members, they could miss a paycheck if this goes on. President Trump is also suggesting more layoffs could be on the way, a sort of Doge 2.0 situation. Now, the Congressional Budget Office estimates roughly 750,000 federal employees could be furloughed during the shutdown, with an approximate daily compensation cost of $400 million. Now, the zoo here in D.C., that'll be closed. Museums, the U.S. Postal Service, they are expected to be unaffected by this government shutdown. And veteran health care also continues during this shutdown. As you mentioned, Nichole, off the top, too, Social Security payments will still go out. Seniors relying on Medicare coverage can still see their doctors, and healthcare providers can be reimbursed. But all of this shows that there are so many questions for Americans today as far as what happens here and what really is impacted for their day-to-day. Nichole?
Yeah, especially because it's been a few years since we've seen this. All right, Kelly, thank you.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.